everybody? Y'all know who it is. It's the Benefeed over here with Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know today we started back up our Pinpoint Podcast for the year. We took us about a 3 or 4 month break. Hope you see our last podcast. You didn't, go to Pinpoint Foundation YouTube. But hey, we got an exciting new guest here in 2023, our first guest for 2023. And what we like we do at all our Pinpoint Podcast, tell you a little bit about our guests. First of all, y'all know all guests are special.
I was just released from federal prison about a year and a half ago, in which I served 26 years. I fell October 16th, 1995, the day of the Million Man March.
1995.
1995, and I was released in 2021, November 2021.
November 2021. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I went down for armed bank robbery. You know, back in the 90s, that's what we was doing in Los Angeles, every neighborhood.
But what we supposed to do now is he say he just come home, welcome home first of all for 26 years. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, for 26 years, that's a long time. So let's toast to God bless you come home.
Yes, sir.
From the den of iniquities
Yes,
after
sir.
26 years.
26 years.
Now go ahead, back to the
Feels so
story.
good to be on this side too, man.
How did you do when you first came home? I mean, what did you do when you first came home?
I first came home, you know, my lady, she met me in New York, came and got me from New York.
Oh, you came home from New York?
Came home from Otisville, New York. And,
What security level is that?
that was FCI.
FCI.
After so many years, I finally worked my way down
You
to
only went
a
down.
medium. 'Cause I started off in USP
Okay.
non-pop. That was the beginning, and I left from Otisville. And, you know, my lady came and got me from Otisville, and we spent the night in Manhattan.
Okay, how you enjoy that?
Oh,
That
man.
first smell of freedom after
That
2600 years.
Oh man, it was like undescribable, you know. But it was joy. It was joy, and we stayed in Manhattan, so that was my first time in New York.
Right,
So,
coming from LA.
coming from LA.
Did you travel prior to you going to prison?
Nah, not much. I went to Alabama, and I went to Newark, New Jersey once to visit my family in Newark, New Jersey back in early 90s, like 90, as
Right.
a matter of fact, you know. But yeah, so we stayed the night in Manhattan, and then she flew me to Miami, you know, where we stayed a couple of days in Miami. First time in Miami as well, you know, and it was just like, you know, just taking it all in. It was surreal at first. It was surreal. I couldn't believe that at last I made it up out of there.
Right, blessed
You know,
to come home.
Absolutely.
Was you not? I don't want to use the word scared, but well, we can't use the word scared. Coming out to a whole different era from when you left back in 1995 up until 2021. How did it feel being gone so long, coming home to everything changed? You ain't got to win nothing but the New York streets.
Yeah. I was a bit nervous, you know, but like I said, my lady picked me up, so that kind of, you know, eased it a little bit. You know, I trusted her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it wasn't like I was scared, but I was nervous. You know, little butterflies. You know, really not knowing what to expect
Right.
in this new world. You know what I'm saying? Because a
You-
lot changed.
Yeah, you build your world inside of that.
My world was inside of there. That's all I knew.
Right.
For 26
How old were you prior to?
I was 21 right before I turned 22.
And prior to you turning 21, 22 years old, that's when you took the long ride.
That's when I
Prior to that, have you been to prison?
Oh, prior to that, man, I started off in CYA, California Youth Authority, which is that's our penitentiary for juveniles. You know.
How old were you when you went there?
I was 16.
16.
I was 16 when I entered CYA. I did a couple years, got out 18, and you know, it's crazy because, like they say, sometimes when the system gets you, it's like a revolving door.
Right.
It's like you know what I'm saying? It's like a cycle. So after CYA, I stayed out 2.5 months. And I ended up catching a violation. And back then, I didn't know that I already had my prison number. because when I went to YA, I had what they call the M number in California, which is we're going to house you in a juvenile facility. However, they sentenced me as an adult. I got sentenced in adult court. So when I violated after YA, they sent me straight to state prison.
Oh, where did you go?
I started off in Chino, which was reception. Then I got lucky, and instead of going up north to where, Susanville and all that stuff up north, I got lucky and stayed down south. And my first institution was Chuckawalla, which
All
was
this in California?
California, which was a level 2.
Right.
But, I was active. I was gang banging back then. So I
You was gang banging?
Yeah, I was gang banging back
Who
then.
you was with?
No, I was a Crip.
Okay.
From Avalon. And,
Was, still is, what?
no, I was.
Okay.
I'm no longer affiliated.
All right.
But yeah, so I got in trouble in Chuckawalla, and they sent me across the street to a prison called Ironwood State Prison, which was a level 3. And I was like the third bus at that spot. I opened that spot up.
Right.
Back in 94. Opened it up in 94. And I ended up getting out later that year in October 94. And when I came home, I came home, and the crazy thing about it is because, and to give you just a brief history on how I got into bank robbery.
Right. I was gonna ask that question.
Yeah, because right before I violated, I was a part of the crew that was supposed to go on our first bank robberies from my neighborhood.
Okay.
And that was supposed to go down on a Monday. However, on that Friday, I'm doing what I do in the hood, shooting dice. I lose all my money, so I go on a mission by myself, and ended up getting caught up and getting
Your first
violated.
bank robbery?
No, it wasn't a bank robbery.
Okay.
I just went on a mission, robbing, just on a robbing spree, individuals.
Right.
And so I ended up getting caught up and going and falling on. And what happened was I got a DA reject, but they violated me anyway.
Right.
And they sent me to state prison.
What's a DA reject?
DA reject is when the district attorney don't want the case.
Oh, okay.
Due to lack of evidence, lack of witnesses or whatnot.
Right.
So I got a DA reject, but they still violated me because I was on parole. And so they sent me to state prison. And Chino was the first spot, and I remember just seeing Chino in the movies.
Yeah.
So when I hit Chino at 18 years old, now that's when I was nervous. Because I hit Chino and they got 3 floors, three tiers. And all I could think about when I first hit Chino was like, I hope I ain't way up there, So, I did 18.
What they housing? Way up there?
No, they ended up housing me
Oh, further,
downstairs.
okay.
And I was glad about that, I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, the crazy thing about it is that YA really prepared me for state prison.
Right.
Because really it's the same old people in state prison.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
The revolving door, what you talking
The
about?
revolving door,
Oh,
so,
man, yeah.
yeah, so, so I adjusted to state prison real quick, and I did my 18 months and got out.
So you did 2 years CYA.
And then 18 months in
Then
state
18.
prison.
So right now you got 3.5 of your life.
Yes.
And you just now what age? 20 years old?
No, when I got out, I was, 20.
20.
I was
yeah.
20 years old when I got out. And the crazy thing about it is when I was in the state joint, that crew that I talked about that I was supposed to rob banks with, they started hitting licks. So they was passing.
Right.
So the whole 18 months, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get out so I can hit me some banks.
So you weren't even thinking about preparing yourself, conditioning your mind.
I wasn't even thinking about it back then.
Too young.
You know what I'm saying? I was young, still on the bullshit.
Right.
All I hear about when I call the hood, this person got this, he got this automobile, they doing this, they doing that. So my whole mind was just, I'm finna get out and rob banks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what got you into the mindset? I know you said in the beginning it was your crew, and then you ended up getting the charge going away, but then you started doing it yourself. So what made you think, say, I'm gonna rob banks and not sell dope? Because dope was popular back in the day.
Well, I really never was into the dope scene because I might sound soft on this one, but I really didn't like what drugs were doing to my people way back then. It's like, without me knowing, I knew. You know what I'm saying? It didn't hurt my heart to see beautiful women come through one day and then 6 months, a year down the line, they done, cracked out. You know what I'm saying?
That hurt your heart?
That hurt my
But
heart.
you were robbing people.
But that still hurt my heart because this is why it hurt my heart, because it's like I see the deterioration right before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And when you see women coming through with their babies in the car, selling food stamps, selling toys, deep within my conscience, it was like, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Not to knock people who did it, because the homies used to tell me, if you don't sell her the dope, I'm going to sell her the dope.
Right.
So early in the game, I feel, you know what? The drug game ain't for me. I attempted a couple times, but it wasn't for me. You know, I liked it, you know, to get mines in hand. It was really just.
So when you started robbing, you were robbing the drug dealers. Because they about the only one that has money.
Well, when I started robbing, I started breaking in houses, 459s.
Oh,
Drug dealers.
They call it B&E. What's 459?
That's breaking and entering.
Okay. B&E is
that's the code.
like
That's the code.
Okay.
That's the code in California for
you
breaking
got
in.
the police code.
That's the code.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, so we ran with it. And I used to rob, you know, dope dealers by breaking in their house, stuff like that back then. But
So really, you could say you was kind of like Robin Hood.
and I tell you what, you absolutely on point with that. Because even when I was robbing banks, I used to go through the hood, and you know the houses got a whole bunch of babies and all that. I used to go to look in their refrigerator. Here, man, go buy some food for the, you know what I'm saying, for the refrigerator. All the little kids, give them dollars, fives, whatever, by their age.
If they home or just when they out?
No, I'm talking about when I used to go through their house. You know what I'm saying? I had different little.
Oh, you talk to them?
Who you talking about?
You said when you go through their house, you talk to them?
No, I'm not talking about the people I was robbing.
Oh,
You said I was a Robin Hood because Robin Hood robbed the rich and gave to the poor.
Okay.
So now I'm referring to when I used to give to the poor.
Okay, after you hit your leg.
After I hit my leg.
Okay.
After I hit my leg.
You know, I'm thinking you robbing the people but telling them to feed them people.
Oh, no.
Feed
no,
the kid. I'm like,
not at
you
all.
a real Robin Hood.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, go
no,
ahead.
I'm just referring to the story of Robin Hood. You know, he robbed the rich and gave it to the poor. And in actuality, that's what I did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that don't justify what I was doing as far as the robbing, but, you know, I was always free to give to somebody who needed it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even living the life that I lived, like I tell people, I practiced being the gangster that I was, but innately, that wasn't who I was.
Right.
I was a good kid, for real. I'm the only child of my mama. I was spoiled rotten, but I took to the streets.
One parent or two?
One parent.
Okay.
But I took to the streets, and when I took to the streets, I became good at the street life because I practiced it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But deep down in my heart, I was still good at nature. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't mind looking out for people, and you know the stuff that people did maliciously. I didn't do it maliciously. I did it because it was work. That's the lifestyle I was into. It was a game to me, like, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I was gang banging, you know, shooting random people, doing harm to random people. But if you was in the game, I was in the game, then we fair game.
Fair game. What got you into being a Crip? Because you said you was kind of spoiled, raised with your mother. From LA, right?
From LA.
What
South
part of
Central.
LA? South Central? Oh, you born in South Central?
Yes. No. So I grew up in the Jordan Projects.
Right.
Which was Grape Streets, Watts Baby Lowe's. Now, for a long time, they was pressing me. They wanted me to bang, you know, jump on me and all of that. You know, I fight back, jump on me again, but I didn't want to be from over there. I wasn't comfortable over there as far as wanting to be from their hood. You know, so my mom's got tired of me getting jumped on, so she moved me on 48th and Avalon. So when I got over there, and the dudes that I started mingling with and hanging out with, it felt like home. It felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So one day, the big homie Big Fish was like, man, I like your style, because I was hustling then. You know, I was stealing cars at that time.
Right.
And so I went over there to sell him my Astro van back in the day so he could take the parts off of it. And he was like, you know what? I like your style, man. You want to be Lil Fish? I was like, I don't know. So I left, and the homie that was with me was like, man, that's Big Fish. He wants you to be his little homie? He said, man, that's big. So I thought about it a few days, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be from the hood.
Right.
And so I went, hollered at him and stuff. We had a meeting at the park, and I got put on the hood.
Okay. Put on the hood bottom.
You know, jumped on the hood.
Jumped on
the hood. You know,
see if you got your squabble.
Yeah, absolutely. And after that, Big Fish didn't even know what he did. He didn't know because I hooked up with one of my homeboys, No Good, my Mexican homeboy, and
they called him No Good.
They called him No Good, and he just taught me the game from there.
Taught you a No Good game.
Yeah, and when we was together, you know. So so that's when I was out there. And that's when my mama started losing control of me because at first she was like, she didn't know I was out there in the streets like that,
So when you became a Crip, you was 18 years old. How old were you when you became a Crip?
I was 15.
Oh, you were 15.
Yeah, I was 15 when I started banging.
So when you started banging, then you get around all the other homies. The thought process is everything is mischief or what everything good. 'Cause I don't never hear nobody say what the actual Crip stand for.
Well, if you want to go back to the history before my time,
because I know when they was like when the Blood and the Crip was, from what I see in the documentary, when they were formed, it was to help the community.
For the community, constitutional revolution and progress, and they took that theory from the Black Panthers in regards to protecting the community, the neighborhood.
Right.
But like all things, man, it went south. It went south, and that protecting the community ended up destroying the community.
With the drugs.
You know what I'm saying? With the drugs, and then, when you get off into the history of, what the government did by putting guns into the communities and stuff, because we didn't have no AKs and all that.
Right.
They put that in the communities.
Yeah, because you grew up back in the late 80s, early 90s. You grew up pretty fast.
I'm a 70 baby, but in the 80s, that's when I started, maturing, and around 90 is when I started banging.
Started banging about in 90?
Yeah.
And you were 15?
15.
Oh, that's right, because we got to catch up.
Right before I turned 16.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, like, just a few months after I started banging, that's when I caught my first case, attempted murder, and that's what sent me to CYA.
So your first case that you ever went to CIA or prison period was for attempted murder?
For attempted murder.
For attempted murder, you beat it or they sentenced you?
No. So I was in juvenile court, and they bound it over to adult court. That's what they was doing to us back in California. So they was giving us, like I explained to you, that M number, which is a number you get when you
go to prison.
Yeah, no, not when you go to prison, but when you go to adult court. So they sentence you in adult court, but they allow you to serve your time in CYA, which is juvenile facility.
Oh, so they got you when you become, so your record wasn't expunged because they sentenced you in adult court.
See, that exactly, and that's something I realized later in the game. Like, damn, so it was designed for them to get me and to hold on to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By giving me, because not only did I have that M number, later in the game when I'm reading through my paperwork, I had an H39326 number. So I had my prison number when I was in YA. So when I violated, I already had that number. So a lot of homies used to be like, "Dang, how you get the H39 number?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know, until I read that paperwork, and I realized they gave me my prison number back when I was sentenced and sent to YA.
Damn. So California was messing over everybody just like the other states. But what we're going to do is take us a 5-minute break. So Pinpoint Podcast, we sit there talking with Mr. Eric who did 26 years, and we're going to get back into the meat of it, how he started, how he went, how he coming, and what his goals is now. Hey, this Pinpoint. We come back right back at you.
Welcome to the new townhome residence coming soon, Pinpoint Park. These modern luxury units will be located on Butner Road in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, just minutes away from the downtown area and the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. The 7 units will include an open floor plan, rooftop patio, 3 bedrooms with 2 masters, and so many more luxurious details. more information on Pinpointe Foundation's latest development, please visit pinpointefoundation.org. And for interest in pre-sales, please visit our website, pinpointbrokers.net. We hope your new home awaits you.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. We were speaking to old Eric, and he was telling us how he began the crib. Got jumped into the crib game at 15. Got the robbery. Got his first attempted murder case. Ended up in CYA. From CYA, they messed over and gave you a M number.
They gave me an M number on
Violation.
top of that, with a state number, which was an H number, which was a state prison number. So it was already in the making. They already knew that I was going to prison.
Right. They groom every young man in California. You get caught up in juvenile, we're gonna give you these numbers. You ain't gonna know what it means, but
Yes.
your record ain't gonna be expunged because we give you the number early.
Yes.
But we're gonna send you back to let you do your time in the youth, thinking you getting away with something. Soon you catch another case that we know, but this time you catch a
Send me
change.
straight to the penitentiary.
Right, straight to the penitentiary. You say when you walked through the penitentiary the first time at 18, you was in Chino,
Yeah.
and that was when you was really nervous.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous.
Then you said you got adjusted. How long did it take, or how fast did it take for you to get
You
adjusted?
gotta get adjusted quick. As soon as the nerves come, you gotta get rid of them quick.
Yeah, take
You
that
ain't
deep
got
breath.
no- Yeah, you
You hear
ain't got no
it.
time to be nervous. You know, you get them butterflies,
Right.
and then the first person say something to you, you're like, "What's up?" And you let them know who you is, where you from, and now you in there. You know, you in there.
Take care of your business.
Absolutely,
You came back down from nothing.
absolutely. Because
So-
everybody watching everything. You got
Right.
homeboy, like you can be tested by somebody just on the strength, but you got a homie right down the way, just watching, seeing how you gonna react.
Right,
If you
right.
react the wrong way, then
They ain't
you
fucking
violated.
And they ain't fucking with
You
you.
violated.
So when you went in there, you had to let them know you was a crip.
Absolutely.
And then you end up getting with your crew.
Yep, absolutely.
Then you jump right into the mix.
Right into the mix.
Was you making money? Because I know you said when you came
Oh,
out,
no.
your thought process was coming out and rob you some banks.
Yeah, but in Chino at the time, I was there with one of the big homies, rest in peace, and he put me up under the wing, and he was getting that pack in.
Right.
So you know, he like, you got a girl? You know, I like, yeah. All right, I'm gonna have my girl pick her up, bring her up here. You know, and my girl and his girl became tight, and you know, we was getting that pack in. Me and him had it all.
Right,
At
right.
that time.
Okay, so you had to jump right on in there, working and everything.
Absolutely.
How you feel? Because you was the Robin Hood, but then you put your girl in a predicament where she could be in there with you.
Yeah, but you know, you ain't.
I mean, I know you ain't thinking you young. I'm
Back,
just
back
saying.
then, you young, and you really you think you can get away with everything. You ain't even thinking about getting caught.
Right, right,
You know what I'm saying? You think about, we're gonna get this money, and you gonna benefit too.
right,
Because the money I get here, I gotta get it out. I gotta send it out to you.
right, right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you gonna get something off the top anyway from handling your business.
And that's when you did your 18-month
That's when
violation.
I did my 18 months. I originally had a year violation, a straight bullet.
Right.
But I turned it into 18 months because I was messing up. I was fucking
What
up.
was the scariest or the worst thing you did at your when you was young?
The scariest? I would probably say just the first time a riot kicked off. It was a little shocking because how it kicked off, it was just like that. Like sometimes you don't even see it coming.
Right.
But like I say, just like with nerves, you gotta let that shit pass because your life could depend on it.
Right.
So you see it, and then you gotta react. You gotta react, and I became, the more I was involved in stuff like that, the quicker I started reacting.
So how you turn your 12 months to 18 months?
Fucking up, fighting, involved in the bullshit, and then every time the parole. So we got a parole board. So if you catch a shot and you're on violation, they'll come down. So 2 times I got caught up. They hit me for 90 days at a time. 90 days. You know, and it came to the point where the big homies told me, man, sit your ass down. You only on the violation. You benefit us better out there.
Right.
And these are homies that had life or had numbers.
Right.
So they're like, sit down.
And how many prisons you touched when you went there from Chino?
Yeah, in the state, I just touched 3 prisons: Chino, Chuckawalla, and then Ironwood.
Where were you in Chuckawalla and Ironwood?
I was in Chuckawalla. I got to Chuckawalla the end of '93. I was only on Chuckawalla yard for about 3-4 months.
Okay. So they transfer y'all around like that in
If you
county?
get disciplinary, and they feel like you can't be on that yard because you were a problem on that yard, they're gonna get you out. And being that I was on a level 2, and level 2 is supposed to be really calm and kick back, but I was in the bullshit on level 2, so they sent me to level 3.
Right.
The higher the levels, the more bullshit it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The more politics play a part, the more violent it becomes. You know what I'm saying? So they set me down in Ironwood, but like I say, I had I only had about 4 or 5 months left when I went to Ironwood, so I didn't stay there long. I got out of Ironwood in November of '94, and I got to Ironwood in February, March of '94.
So you getting ready to come home. You come home in '94 then.
I came home in '94.
So you come home in '94. You done did 2 bids, the CYA and then
state prison.
and state prison.
Yes.
So now you come home. You say you fresh out. Was you still with that girl? She ran out with the money.
No. So
She ran out with the money.
No, about 6 months. No, after I caught my 3rd incident where I got an additional 90 days.
Right.
She's like, I can't do this no more. You ain't coming home. You fucking elbow. By the way, you know, I've been seeing somebody. It is what it is.
Right.
You played yourself. I got 90 days left.
Right.
So I got out and I ain't fuck with her.
Okay. So when you come home, how soon did you start hitting licks and how long did you stay out?
Okay, so when I got home,
Robbing bank. Hitting licks, robbing bank.
before I robbed banks, when I got home, so I was little fish. Baby fish was under me. You know what I'm saying?
And you picked him like you got picked?
Yeah, but big fish really picked both of us.
Okay.
Baby fish should have been little fish
Okay.
because he was like big fish brother, but he wasn't ready yet. So when he became ready, I put him on the hood, and he became baby fish.
Oh, okay.
So when I got out, baby fish, he was already in the mix, and he couldn't wait for me to come home because he had stopped fucking with certain homies, and he was like, I couldn't wait till you get home. I was just falling back until you got home, and he already had some licks for us.
Right.
So just so happened, 3 days or 4 days after I get out, one of my loved ones, Big A-Mon, ended up getting killed. So when he got killed, that put me right back in a war zone.
Right.
So we put the bank robberies off for a couple weeks. So after that, the war died down. Baby Fish was like, I got one for us, come on. Now mind you, a lot of the homeboys thought I was too wild. So a few of the homies didn't want to fuck with me on the bank robberies. They're like, you too wild. You be on stupos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Baby Fish was like, I got you. So we went on our first one. Then it ended up being the second one. And the next thing you know, we was like 5, 6 in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
was y'all armed robbers?
the first couple was just bounce over the counter. Boom, boom, boom. No pistols.
Right.
But then we elevated our game and we started doing takeovers. And that's when we started.
When you say take over the bank?
Yeah, we started walking the managers in the morning before the bank opened.
Right.
And we started hitting the votes.
They had some hell of a balls. They're like golden balls or some shit. How you get the nerve and the courage to do that? The nerve, not the courage, the nerve.
We was reckless, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, it's like, so we had a crew called the Wolf Pack, and we was wolves. Wolves is hungry. Wolves go get that bag. And so, you know, it's just one of them things, man. But believe it or not, and I'm not trying to glorify what I did.
No, you're young. We're just talking about
But
everything over here on Pinpoint Park.
But it was just too easy.
Right.
It was easy. I didn't get caught in no banks. I got told on. You know what I'm saying? So and it became an addiction. It became an addiction to where it's like, okay, we'll pass for 80, 90. We go to the hood, we buying this, buying that, we blowing money, you know what I'm saying? And we not, you know, we didn't work for it, so we not, you know, we really not valuing it. We just blowing it.
So let me ask you this here. You don't gotta answer the question, but I gotta ask. What was your highest lick? You done did 26 motherfucking years. You did your time.
Yeah, I did my time.
What was the most y'all got out of a bank from a robbery?
We got like 2 and some change. That was the most.
Right.
But it's crazy because
That was a lot of money back in the 1990s.
it was, but we had a crew from the hood that passed for 500. So our whole goal was like, damn, we got to get that 500. We know it's in there. So every time we miss that mark, it's like we looking for some more. Like, man, we got to get that half a ticket.
What was the least?
Ooh, we had a bad one. We had one that went wrong, and we only got like 6,000 of mutilated funds. That mean the money that they really didn't want.
Oh.
And
Does that make a difference?
What make a difference?
Well, the money they really didn't want.
I mean, we spent it.
Yeah.
We taped some of it up, but it's called mutilated funds because you know when you get them ripped out currencies and somebody that's probably burnt and it's old, and so they got a special thing for it. So these ladies in the bank, they were so nervous they couldn't open the vote. They was like, take this. And by that time, we was in that motherfucker for about 10 minutes. And you don't supposed to be in nothing no longer than 2-3 minutes. And so we just took it, and when we got back, we was like, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all never got caught with any bags, with blow-up bags?
So, and I got a blow-up story. So my guy, Baby Fish, rest in peace, man. He died in prison. We had a ride in Victorville. He ended up getting killed. And
he fell with you?
Yeah.
That was we're gonna get to that day.
Okay. So one day we in the back car. So we had a white girl. She used to drive. So the police was just missing her sometime. But we in the back. So the white girl ride right by. They don't look at her. So one day we in the back. So one of the homies was like, "What's this?" He passed me some shit that had a blow-up pack in it. I don't know. I passed to my guy, "What's this?" He rolled down the window, "Let's blow up, cuz." Just that quick. Thank God it didn't blow up on us.
Right.
But we did get some money with blow up. We didn't get none with tractor in it. Because one thing about my guy, he was younger than me, but he was a vet because he, like I say, they was robbing banks the whole time that I was in.
Locked up.
Yeah. So he had experience. So what you're supposed to do when you get the money out the safe, squeeze it. Squeeze it, throw it in the bag. Squeeze it, throw it in the bag. Because we got shit with steel wrappers in it.
Right.
Squeeze it, throw it in the bag. So that particular time, the homie that was with us didn't squeeze, and we almost got caught up with some ink.
So, wow. Okay. I know y'all was glad y'all threw that. They would just knew y'all. Y'all would have dished the car.
Nah, I know people that got caught up with that ink, and it chokes you out. It blows up in the car, it chokes you out, dye all over you. So when the police come, you got dye all over you. You can't say it wasn't me.
Right. So you never got caught. All your bank robberies actually was successful.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I remember a week before the feds came and got me, my mom's cooking. And so I promised my moms I wouldn't sell dope, right? So she was like, "Boo-boo, you selling dope. How you be having all this money? You be giving me all this money." I said, "I don't sell dope, Mom." She said, "You doing something?" I said, "I don't sell dope." She said, "Well, what you doing?" I looked at her for a minute. I said, "I'm a bank robber." She got the stuttering, then dropped the spatula. "Well, why you ain't on America's Most Wanted?" And I told her straight, with a straight face, I said, "I'm too good." And I actually thought that I was good at it.
Right.
Because I hadn't got caught in the act of one.
Right.
I did my homework, I did my research, I knew everything I needed to know about that particular robbery on every day. Huh?
Did you have to follow your managers and all that?
And I knew where their kids went to school and everything.
Oh, so you did your fucking homework.
So when you tell them your child go to this school, bust this vote open, they go bust that vote open. Because I know something.
Right.
You know, and once again, I'm not glorifying it, but back then, those were the tactics.
Right.
Those were the tactics that I used to get what I wanted.
Okay. And you say you got caught up with somebody telling on you.
Yeah.
So your last bank, let's go to the last bank robbery before somebody told on you. Or because you didn't know that was your last bank robbery.
Well, alright, so the person that told on me ended up being the white girl I was telling you about. So we had some people in Alabama, and at the time, you get like $1,200 for a pound of that cheap weed. So my guy was like,
it was considered good back then.
yeah, but we was getting for like $250 a pound. So my guy was like, fuck that, I got some people out there, let's get these pounds and let's move them to Alabama. It's like, well, we need somebody to take them. So we're like, fuck it, let Mary take them. One thing I realized is sometimes people are good at one thing, but they're not good at this thing.
Right.
A lot of times you can't be mixing them.
Right.
So when we gave her the pounds,
that's why in the bank they train this person to be a teller, this person to be a bank manager, this person to be a man. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good at where we train you.
Absolutely. So out the gate, when we dropped, my people dropped Mary off at the airport, they detected she was nervous. So they followed her through the airport. She making nervous moves. So they, ma'am, can I check that bag? She was like, sure. They get the pounds. She said, well, who you get this from? Well, I got it from the fishes. Little fish, baby fish. Oh yeah? She said, yeah, and they rob banks. Once she said they rob banks, they was like, fuck this weed.
Yeah.
Tell us about these banks. And for the longest, they didn't know who was committing these robberies. They had us as the early morning bandits, but they didn't know who we were. So once she told them, they're like, ooh,
so in South Central LA,
we've been looking for them.
They know y'all was known as the early.
Yeah.
Where she get caught up at?
She got caught up at Ontario Airport.
Oh, in California.
In California. She didn't even make it to Alabama.
Right.
So once she told them that, they were like, oh, they called it a few of their people, like, these are the guys we've been looking for. So what they did was they let her go. But now they put a bug on her phone. They got her mic'd up. So we were supposed to go on a lick, and she kept shaking us, and I'm mad, like, what the fuck wrong with you? I told you this shit is velvet. So they got all this on recording. It was velvet. That's what we referred to as it's sweet.
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is velvet, man.
You know, me being from Houston, we got different terms.
No, I get it. So she was saying she was sick. So she was stalling us for the Fed.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing tootsie slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas strip tonight. Slip that on and we might miss the fight. Fuck a night, I keep the guala in my shorty bag. You know she wanna mine when she tattooed that ass. I'm a lover boy, she got her toys. Keep it coming in my rider. This that roll myself a J and count my figure shit. This that stepping out, I feel like I'm that nigga shit. I drop 30 on this room, we ain't gon' sleep for shit. If I catch you nodding off, then it's gon' be some shit. Well, you can do what you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. We still in our Pinpoint Podcast talking to old Mr. Eric over here, talking about the life of growing up in South Central LA. We also, I guess, like boys in the hood, part of that other stuff they do. Now when they went around looking for the dude. But we back at Pinpoint Podcast. And you know, at Pinpoint Podcast, we always talk about real things, real life situations that lead up to real estate, because all things is real estate here. So we're going to jump right back in. We're going to do a little short recap. Recap is when you got caught up for Mary. Mary told on y'all, a white girl that y'all trusted in the 1990s, but y'all knew y'all wasn't supposed to be trusted because y'all was young and wild, y'all trusted the white girl Mary. Right? So Mary got caught up with the weed in Ontario, California. When she got caught up in Ontario, California, she put y'all together and say, shit, fuck, we got weed and bank robbers. And the feds like, forget the bank robbery.
No, they like, forget the weed.
Yeah, forget the weed. Y'all know the early morning bandits. Y'all the early morning bandits. When y'all went back through, y'all hit that, y'all figured out. They picked you up. Then y'all hit one more lick. Then after that one more lick, they knew y'all did what y'all did. Then they went and say, fuck it, let's go pick them up.
Yeah,
They took y'all.
Because of the style of robberies, they knew that.
Yeah, they picked what they call the MO.
Absolutely.
So, right, I'm gonna go there. So when they do the recap, so they picked y'all up. They took y'all down to the federal building. Y'all thought y'all were gonna beat the case. Couldn't beat the case because they violated y'all with the Brady Act.
Yes.
By not disclosing the information. For those of y'all who don't know what the Brady Act is, the Brady Act is the Brady Act is where you can't withhold information from the other party. The DA or the AUSA in this particular case can't withhold information from the defendant's attorney. The defendant's attorney can't withhold information from the AUSA or DA. So that's what they violated. You file your appeal all the way up to your 2255. Didn't do it, but let's gird back. You touched down. You got sentenced. Your fall partner was Big Fish because you live.
No, Babyfish.
Babyfish was your fall partner. So we left off as Babyfish being his fall partner. Then here we go now. Babyfish, you fall up on the same yard with him in Long Park.
In Long Park, we started off in
Long
Long
Park.
Park.
Y'all started, so let's pick up in Long Park. You meet up with your Cody. You're still Crip affiliated.
Yes.
Still very Crip active.
Yes.
And y'all going into federal penitentiary,
Yes.
USP.
Yes.
Where's USP Long Park?
It's in Long Park, California. It's in Long Park, California. It's a USP. One of the few toughest prisons at the time in the United States.
Right.
You know,
Toughest federal prisons.
Yes, one of the toughest federal prisons in the United States at the time. You got a few, but Long Park was one of them. I was with Babyfish on the run. Like, I don't usually stay long because I'm always getting in trouble at that time. You know, before I grew up.
Right.
I was always getting in trouble. And,
When you saying getting in trouble, fighting and doing everything.
In this particular case, I had a assault on the staff, which stemmed from when I was in Long Park. I had a relationship with one of the staff members there, and you know, so they slammed me, sent me to the hole, and while I'm in the hole, they was harassing me.
A lot of people don't know what the hole is.
Solitary confinement. And
move you away from everybody.
Yes.
And when they sent you to the hole, you didn't have a cell in the hole.
Yeah, I had a cellie. I had a couple cellies, and
Couple?
yeah, no,
You mean by yourself or you?
No, I had a cellie.
Okay.
And then when somebody get out the hole, and they bring another cellie, because I was in the hole in Long Park for probably about 6 months. You know, they don't take lightly when you're messing with their officers, and this particular staff member had a husband there. So, you know, that good old boy network, they harassed me a lot, and they forced my hand, and I ended up catching assault on one of them when they came in my cell.
Right.
And so they used that to send me to USP Marion.
But before we get to Marion and Long Park, you with Big Fish.
Babyfish.
Babyfish, I'm sorry. And you lost Babyfish.
Not at Long Park.
Okay, well, okay. But at Long Park, that's when you kind of shot. How long did you stay on the yard before you got sent to the hole?
A few months.
Okay.
A few months, and so then I was in the hole for about 6 months, and they ended up sending me to USP Marion, which was a lockdown facility where you spend like 21 and a half hours in the cell a day, because you come out for 2.5 hours for recreation, where you do your push-ups, dips, pull-ups, whatever on the tier, you shower, and then they slam you back in your cell. Now here, it was single-man cells. So I stayed in USP Marion for six years and 10 months, almost 7 years. And
That's your longest stint.
that's my longest stem. And even though
On 1 yard.
on 1 yard, and even though, like, to the regular person, it seemed like, damn, you was in solitary confinement for damn near 7 years, but that 7 years was needed because it was there when I started doing research on myself and learning who I was as a man.
So when you first got to federal prison,
Yeah.
You did 6 months at Long Park.
In a hole in Long Park.
In the hole. But you did 8 months, 9 months on that Long Park altogether?
I got there in July of 97. And no. July 98. July 98, I got to Long Park, and it was 99, like, I want to say about June 99. I left Long Park. No, June 99, I was in the hole still. I got to USP Mary in October of 99. I remember it was close.
So you stayed 2 years at Long Park?
No. I didn't stay 2 years at Long Park. I got to Long Park in 98. I stayed in Long Park a little under a year.
Okay.
A little under a year, and I was sent to USP Mary. I'm trying to get the days right. July 98. I stayed about almost a year, a little over a year in Long Park. But most of that was in the hole.
So let me ask you this before we get to Mary. So you go back to CYA, then you go to Chino, and then the other two, I forget their name.
CYA, Chino, Chuckawalla, and then Ironwood.
Yeah. Okay, now you're in Long Park.
Now I'm in Long Park.
Out of them different prisons, but there's 4 different prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the street, robbing banks, Crip affiliated.
Yes.
How, I don't want to now, we'll get to the now later, the mindset. Back then, how was that mindset being Crip affiliated, and how did you feel like that put you in situations? Did you get put in situations because you automatically affiliated, or you got in situations because, like you said, you was a damn fool?
Both.
Right.
You know, earlier, especially in Long Park, you know, just living up to that reputation, because when we first hit the line, everybody knew the fishes was coming. You know what I'm saying? And we was on the streets. We was beefing. We was beefing hard. So a lot of people thought it was going to be instant drama, especially with a particular set when we got there.
Crip against Crip?
Yes, Crip against Crip. And you know, but in the feds, you gotta. It's a way in the feds where even your enemy become your comrade, because we from California. So you gotta put that street shit to the side.
It's geometric.
Yeah, it's geographical.
Geographical.
So you gotta put that gang shit or that hood shit to the side when you hit the feds. You know, you might catch a fade with somebody that you really was beefing with. Like, we gotta catch this fade.
No.
And then we gonna...
I know what the fade is. Tell people what the fade is.
Fade is like, we gotta fight. We're gonna go over here, we're gonna lock it up, we're gonna fight. Just me and you. Ain't nobody involved. We're gonna get that off our chest.
No knives, no nothing.
No, see, and that's how it used to be back in the days, where you can go man to man, let's go catch this fade, and then we're gonna move forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna gain that level of respect.
Yeah, because you know what we was on the streets. So, but for the most part, especially being from California, when you in the feds, like, some of my closest comrades was Bloods.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we was in the feds. Because if you send us to Allenwood, Pennsylvania, and it's only 9 of us on the yard, and it's 100 dudes from Philly or 100 dudes from DC or whatever they might be, we gotta stick together if the smoke, if something kick off.
But in the state, it's just the opposite.
In the state, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Unless it becomes racial, then, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, in the feds, it's like I say, some of my closest comrades was Bloods, Full Trade Gangsters, which is a set that we was beefing with on the streets.
Now, before we go there, just something you just said to pick up on. You said, unless it was racial. So have you ever been caught up in a racial ride in the state, and then we're going to come back to the feds?
In the state?
Because at this point, you got your 986 months. But you really did a whole nother, 36,
I did 18
42. Yeah, so that's 42. You did 2 years.
2 years.
And 18 months, so it was 42 months.
No, that's 38 months.
38 months? Man, Lord, hey, look.
No, you're right.
Right.
I forgot about the 4.
Yeah.
I forgot about the 4.
So, so you did that, 42 months. 42 months of in and out. Well, not really in and out, 2 years, then 18 months. You got caught up in a racial.
Yeah.
Racial riot.
I got caught up in one racial riot.
And you were blessed to survive, because you're always blessed to survive.
Always blessed.
Ain't no day to come out.
Absolutely.
How was that feeling? How did you feel when you got caught up in that racial riot? And then where was that at?
That was in Ironwood. That was in Ironwood, and I mean, really, it just become business. Like you become so immune to those environments to where the abnormal becomes normal to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Common folk won't get it, but once you in that environment, it just becomes normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you gotta do what you gotta do to take care of your
you get the butterflies.
Everybody gets the butterflies.
But you still react accordingly.
Right. So let's go back from Long Park. You're in the hole. They get ready to move you.
Yes.
So you get moved to Marion.
USP Marion.
USP Marion, was it like a hole? No, USP Marion.
That was the lockdown.
That was lockdown.
USP Marion was ADX before they built ADX,
Right.
which is the maximum security prison in Colorado. So Marion, USP Marion was just one step below ADX.
Right.
You know? So
Did they have you in the gang unit?
Well, they had me with the homies, but then it was dudes from Texas on our tier, you know, a couple Chicago dudes. You know what I'm saying? It was a mix, but they try to separate you as best they can.
Right. What do you mean separate?
In regards, they try to keep mostly Cali dudes together, mostly New York dudes together. But say if you're a problem in another unit and they want to dog you, they'll send you where. You know what I'm saying?
They'll ship you around.
Whereas dudes from other states, they'll make you uncomfortable. They try to do that. They try to make you uncomfortable.
So you had married.
Yeah.
Comfortable. Did your man, Baby Fish, come down?
Nah, Baby Fish.
What did y'all, because you stayed at Marion how long?
I stayed in Marion almost 7 years, 6 years and 10 months.
Okay. Did you get in any trouble?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and most of my trouble most of my trouble in Marion came from disciplining my own homies though. You know what I'm saying? Either disciplining my own homies or cell extractions, which is
discipline your own homies like they do.
Yeah, if they say for instance, like Marion, it's based on respect. So you quiet at certain times of the night. You don't be talking on a tier past 10 o'clock. It's respect thing because you're around other men of respect. And if you get a homeboy that come and don't respect the rules of the range, then it's up to you to discipline that homeboy. And there was no love lost. It's business, you know.
Everything with you is business.
I mean,
so you right. You might be a businessman. Because you say everything business. Slap the shit out of a nigga, discipline a nigga. Or discipline a man. You know, we don't pay for a podcast. Discipline a nigga, because we discipline. In the joint, the belly of the beast, the den of iniquity. When you discipline, put them in place.
Yeah.
And just and let them know, hey, you part of this.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so you don't get us to bump ahead with others. You gotta respect the rules, because the rules is what we live by and what we survive.
Absolutely. And it ain't no love lost, you know. And then you know, a couple cell distractions, because you know if one homie go with the police, everybody gotta go. So if one homie bucking, then we all bucking. And you know, it's been times when they came in there with the tear gas and drug us up out of there, you know, because we was all bucking. You know, but other than that, for the most part, USP Marion, I just use that as just, like I say, I know you want to get back into it later, but that was my turning point of becoming a real man standing on my own, learning who I was as a black man.
And how old were you about then?
I was 25 when I hit USP Marion. I was 25, and that was probably the best experience for me. You know, because when they finally released me from USP Marion, they sent me back to USP Victorville, which is in California.
Okay.
And when I used to sag and all of that stuff, I wasn't sagging no more. My pants was pulled up, my vocabulary had changed. I wasn't using really any disrespectful words towards women or to us as black men. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Baby Fish, he used to look at me and he used to tell the homies like, dang, the homie different now. Because while all the homies would be grouped up doing what they doing, I'll be somewhere reading a book. Still watching everything, still with my knife, but at the same time, I'm reading and
So you kept that bang on.
You had to.
Right.
You had to.
Can you use it or won't use it?
You gotta use it. Or get it used on you. And it's something that, you know, it just is what it is.
It's prison.
You gotta protect yourself. It's prison.
Right.
You know? So.
And then you was in the USP.
I was in the USP.
Well, you had to keep that thing on.
Yes, you had, because as soon as you hit the USP, the homie gonna give it to you.
Right.
There ain't no way around it. Here. First thing they say, where your paperwork at? Everybody knew me though, for the most part, but where your paperwork? Okay, here, take this.
And your paperwork was to show you wasn't cooperating with the federal government.
Yeah, showing you wasn't hot.
So we go by the paperwork, because you see a lot of that on social media and all that. All these guys, all the rapper guys, everybody talking about paperwork.
Yeah.
But I know you probably laugh at it. I don't know how you feel about it. But anyway, with the paperwork, they hit the yard and they don't want to give up their paperwork. Or somebody put a jacket on somebody without seeing the paperwork. What were the consequences to those acts if it was one of your homies?
You put a jacket on somebody and you ain't got no paperwork, then you fuck around and get disciplined. Now we ain't gonna roll you up, but we're gonna discipline you.
And when you say roll you up,
Make you go to the hole, make you go up top.
and getting shipped off the yard.
Yeah, but really, you can't put nobody out there unless you got that paperwork. And if the person they hit the yard ain't got no paperwork, then they suspect. And if they ain't got no paperwork, they gotta go up top. Now if somebody on the yard that got your paperwork that says you hot,
Right. And hot meaning tell.
that you telling, then your paperwork don't mean nothing because we already got it in black and white. You know what I'm saying?
And if they decide not to go up top, which is
That's the best thing for them to do.
right.
I done seen some horror stories
Get
behind.
banged out with the bangers,
Whew.
raped and all that.
I wouldn't say rape, you know, especially. I'm gonna say we don't do that. California don't do that.
Texas
We ain't on that bullshit. You know, and a lot of people know who is on that bullshit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
for sure.
But really, what you either get punished by stumped out or you get that knife put in you. And it's the serious homies that got that life, they ain't trying to stump you out, they trying to put that knife in you.
Get
Point
rid of it.
blank period. Cause that's all they live for. They get excited by that shit.
So you got a lot of, you seen quite a few murders in the joint.
Well, I seen a couple, but I seen a lot of people get stabbed and I seen a lot of people get sliced with that razor blade.
Right.
And I seen my own loved one get murdered in prison.
Right. And then that goes back to you say your homie, your fall partner ain't your homie, Baby Fish. He was in that fight, God bless. He didn't make it out. What happened in that situation? Where you caught up with him in a situation where you on the yard with him?
I was on the yard with him, and the story is long, so I'm gonna just make it brief. But
Take it as long as you want. Pinpoint. Point us in the direction.
all right, so Baby Fish is that's my dog. That's my loved one, my little brother. So I remember like it was yesterday. When I got to Victorville, he was already in cell with one of my homeboys. So I told him, y'all keep that arrangement, cause me and Baby Fish couldn't sell together. We sell together before, and you know that's my loved one, but we can't sell together.
Right.
He leaves shit everywhere. I'm a neat freak.
Where y'all sell together?
We were selling in MBCLA.
Okay.
So, so we left them living arrangements. I moved in to sell with one of the other homies. So that morning I got up, and I'm up early because I like to check the temperature of the yard. I like to know what's going on, what happened the night before, just in case the homies got into it somewhere else. I like to feel that and see what's going on. So I get up in the morning, I looked in his cell, I was like, you going to breakfast? He was like, nah, I'll get at you in a minute. I'll get at you in a couple hours and lay it down for a minute. I'm like, all right. So I picked up one of my other comrades on my way to Chow, and we go to Chow. We come back, we stop in another unit, because when you're on them yards, you go from unit to unit, fucking with the homeboys, doing what you do. So we in the unit next door to my unit. I'm fucking with one of the homies, and next thing you know, the deuces go off. We hear gunshots. A dude from Seattle, Washington, came in like, man, y'all homies getting down out there. So we react. We pushing up out that building. Police trying to keep us in the building. Watch out! And we get active. So in the mix of us getting active, they shoot. Police coming from everywhere. When the smoke cleared, I try to fade back by the building so I can act like I ain't involved, because you want to get away with everything you do.
Right.
So I slid behind the building, and I asked one of the homies, I was like, who is that stretched against the gate? And when he told me it was Baby Fish, my world just came to a stop. Like, nah. So
Did you get on one?
So the police, what happened is the police taking people down, and I'm telling the officer, I'm like, man, tell him I just came out your building. I ain't got shit to do with that. So when he told them, yeah, I just came out the building, they let me go. So when they let me and my comrade go, we walking through the yard, but all I see is my guy stretched against the gate. And what we were doing, we were getting ready to go to his unit and get on somebody's head instantly. But I kept looking back, and so I was like, fuck it, I gotta go see if the homie's still breathing. So when I'm making my way back to the homie, because I was getting ready to come, he's stretched up against the gate, and I'm on the other side of the gate. So I'm finna come up on this side where the police said, just see if my man's still breathing. And I just so happened to see one of the dudes from the opposite side that we was getting down with. And I get off on him. Boom. He get back off on me. He hit hard as a motherfucker. So I ain't never been hit that hard. I ain't gonna even lie. And if it wasn't going down like that, he probably would have been the last person that I got at.
Right.
But business is business.
Right.
So they take us down, take us to the hole. So when I'm in the hole, the SIS came to the cage, because they still had me outside in the cage because there was so many people. You know how it is. They got a clear space in the hole. They got a lot of people in the cages waiting to get a cell. So he was like, man, he was like, Fish. Because he was a cool SIS. You know how they be acting. Like, you know. He said, I'm sorry to say, man, Baby Fish off the count. I said, what the fuck you mean he off the count? He was like, he off the count. He didn't make it. And man, that probably was the last thing I would have ever wanted to hear. My little homeboy.
From your same hood.
From the same hood. Grew up with.
Right.
And I was in the zone for a long time, man. I was fucked up behind that. You know, I was fucked up behind that. And so they kept us in the hole for a few months and sent us back on the yard. A few of us, they shipped and shit. And I got out tripping. I wanted to fade. I wanted to fade all the homies that didn't participate. I wanted to fade all the homies that were still in the bed that morning that didn't get active. I was tripping. I had a couple fades with the homies, and I stayed around for a minute, and I ended up getting into it with the police down the line and shit, and they ended up shipping me, man. But
where they ship you to then?
I went from there to motherfucking Allenwood. I went from there to Allenwood for a minute, and shit was different after that, man. Like, shit was different, and that took a lot out of me. So, you know, I fucked up for a few more years and shit, and getting into it and shit. They kept me away from them dudes for a long time, and so one day I'm in a hole, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. And I had already started changing when I was in USP Marion. And I'm like, I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm not trying to be a part of this shit no more. So I didn't stop banging.
When you said part of this shit,
as far as cripping, I didn't stop banging, but I stopped getting into the bullshit. I became a voice of reasoning. Like when homies used to, be on some bullshit, I asked them, you sure? You sure that's what you want to do?
Versus back then.
Back then, I was just with it.
You know whatever, you right,
yeah.
wrong, indifference.
Yeah, so
You brought them for the ride.
yeah, so they ended up sending me to FCI, Minnesota. And when they sent me to FCI, Minnesota,
Another USB.
not FCI.
FCI.
Now my points dropping.
Right.
The more I stayed out of trouble, my points started dropping. And when I got to Minnesota, it's just like it wasn't too many homies there. It was homies there, but from out of state. So it wasn't that pressure of having the homies from Cali there. So they come and holler at me, what's up, big homie Wolf? And we talk, and I started talking positivity. You know what I'm saying? My heart started changing. My mindset started changing. Everything started changing to where it's like I wasn't on that foolishness no more.
When we say change or reverting back?
I started changing to...
Because reverting back, you was Robin Hood.
No, when
you was hitting the licks, you was giving back.
Yeah, so...
Because you had a hard day.
So this one I'm going to say.
So they...
Mama's boy and all that.
Did your family and friends ride with you for up until that point? Because how long were you in there before the whole change came? About a decade? You about 10 years in, decade in? Or a little more?
About 14, about almost 13, 14 years.
But that's when the change came.
Yeah, and Mom's always been there. By the grace of God, she survived and she's still alive. You know,
because a lot of people don't know, when you do time, your family member, your loved one do time with you.
Oh, absolutely, and it tore my mama down, man. And it still breaks my heart today, the damage it did to her. Y'all look at me, I'm still young, I'm still active, I'm still healthy, but the damage that it did to her, you know what I'm saying, it aged her, she had nervous breakdowns and all kinds of, because I'm her only child, I'm her baby.
You never knew your father?
No, I knew my father.
Was he there?
Nah, I got a military check every month, but that's it.
So do you know him now?
Yeah, he ironically, he died about a year, 14 months before I got out of prison.
So you never really got to spend a lot of time with him?
Nah. I mean, every now and then, he wanted to take me to Japan with him when he was stationed out there, but I was a mama's boy. I'm not leaving my mama.
Right. Well, you end up leaving anyway.
Yeah.
About 3 times. 3 good long time.
Yeah.
Time get long. So you're back to air. Mm-hmm. You're reading your books. What type of books you reading now to condition your mind?
All the self-help, Eckhart Tolle, Stephen Covey. Of course, everybody read the 48 Laws of Power and all that stuff.
Outliers and all that.
Yeah, and As a Man Thinketh.
Get Rich.
Rich Dad, Poor
Rich
Dad.
Dad, Poor Dad.
Like all the books that pretty much everybody read, but I also just like to get into spiritual books, mindfulness, meditation. I think that's what kept me throughout my journey, just being able to just meditate and just get into myself and into my own, you know what I'm saying?
So that time you changed, manifestation into Eric. Mm-hmm. You're going back to Eric McKenith, who walked in, who was birthed.
Yes.
And you left him. I'm going to say you left Eric at 15.
Yes. You
was grooming yourself to leave him, but you left him all the way when you got jumped in by Big Fish.
I got jumped in by the homeboy Lil Muggsy, but Big Fish set it up though.
Okay.
Big Fish was the older homie.
Well, that was the initiator.
Yeah, he the one that brought me to the set.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're back in there, you 13, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Now you want a smooth sailing, but you're still at USB, you're still rocking.
Yeah, and it's hard in the USP. But once I got to FCI, it was easier for me to.
But at the USP, you still got to carry your bangers and stuff.
Yeah, you still got to do all that.
And when you move down to the FCI, that's considered a medium.
Medium.
So you go down to the medium. You don't have banger paperwork. Do they still do that?
They still do paperwork and shit.
So how do you feel about coming home, new to social media, all this new world, and you see a lot of prison guys doing a lot of prison stories, and a lot of them talk about paperwork. A lot of them be lying. I don't know. But how do you feel about that? Come in on that, and we're going to go back to you. Come in on how you see these guys talking about paperwork in these social media settings, and these other guys knowing they lying on other people about paperwork, and they don't got it. Just your feeling, and as what you truly was living.
Well, to be honest with you, like, I really don't get into that social media in regards to that, but I hear it on rap songs every now and then. You know, I really can't comment on it because I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I know that paperwork was real back in the 90s and early 2000s. And what I also know is that they had so many people getting punished that they stopped letting people bring their paperwork out of R&D. So, but it was still
receiving the discharge?
Yeah, but it was still ways for you to get some type of paperwork to say you wasn't hot. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got to go to your case manager or not. They made it hard.
With your sentencing transcript?
Sentencing transcripts, all of that stuff. You know, they made it hard because they was tired of people getting punished. You know, but one thing about being especially in USPs, you got people that's with that, they be on the computer all day, every day. And you stumble across some shit all the time. And you print that shit out like, here it go right here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hard. It ain't hard to get.
So nigga coming in and lie all they want, man.
Yeah, because you can probably lie, but eventually it's gonna catch up with you. Eventually it's gonna catch up with you.
And when it catch up with you, I know that you always do that.
Nah, because I seen it. And I'm seeing just many people getting punished. Many of them. Many of them thinking they slick as oil, thinking that they can maneuver and finesse their way through. That shit catch up with you.
And before you know it, boom.
That shit catch up with you.
So you're going through that, you changing, you coming, you still got, well, yo, you got a lot of damn time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what, 86 years?
84 years.
84 years.
Yeah.
So shit, that's a lot of fucking time, especially in the Fed, you got to do 85% of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you done caught shots and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, 13 years in, you still got so much time, 14 years in, you're like, you know what, the hell with this fucking. I need to lay my ass down. I'm older now. I done put in a lot of work. Let me do something and try to work on myself without. Because we finna come get you out right now. We finna travel out. Because we in there. So we understand what happens in there. So now you start doing what you're doing. Now, new laws coming into effect. You're filing all your appeals. Once you filing all of your appeals, then now here you go. We got a different president.
Yes.
Different president that you not unbeknown to you is the president that's supposed to change the law, enact the law to help you come home. We're gonna come back with that with Pinpoint Podcast. We're gonna take us the last minute of 5. We're gonna come back with Mr. Eric, and then we're gonna come on out aside his 26 years. You know, you go all day with something like this. But Pinpoint Podcast, hey, y'all want to see us? Any of our other podcasts, go to our YouTube station, Pinpoint Foundation, and we'll see y'all in a few ticks. And we always got to shout out. Wait, what?
Introducing to you Pinpoint Foundation's Real Estate Lounge, a unique experience in all things real estate and other business ventures. Pinpoint is an expansive company that is driven to put our customers' best interests first in all aspects. From commercial and residential real estate representation, where we do closings here at the office, to our 501c3, mentoring and nonprofit events, filming productions, and courier services, come let Pinpoint point you in the right direction and experience business better than you have before. We're not a regular real estate company, we're a cool real estate company. Visit us on our websites, pinpointbrokers.net and pinpointfoundation.org, and check us out on our social media platforms. Pinpoint Foundation is always accepting donations through Zelle to Pinpoint Foundation or through mail-in checks. See you soon.
Back to Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know we sitting up here with Mr. Eric, and we're coming down to the line with Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know, again, I always say everything's the whole thing with real estate here at Pinpoint. And we'd like to thank Eric for coming out. But here we're going to touch on some basics, and we're going to travel it. Y'all know we travel at Pinpoint Podcast. So if we do our recap, y'all know, we gotta understand me, a recap. So we went back to Lawn Park. From Lawn Park, you said you did damn near a year, not a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there you went to Marion, you did what? 6 years, 6 years.
10 months.
10 months. Right at 7 years at Lawn Park, that's the most you ever did.
7 years at USP Marion.
Yeah, Marion. At Lawn Park you did a year, almost a year.
About a year.
10 months or a year. Then at USP Marion, it was the longest place you ever stayed throughout your whole system, even starting back from the CYA. That was 2 years, Chino and the other two I keep forgetting. Then you go to Lawn Park. Then you get shipped over there at Marion. Then you go over to the other spot with your
USP Victorville.
USP Victorville. And then you meet back up with your childhood friend,
At Victorville.
your homie at Victorville, and then he get unfortunate situation, thing happen to him, then your mind, you get to tripping for 2 more years. 2 more years you tripping. After you tripping, okay, your mind hit you, 13, 14 years in. Okay, now you traveling, you conditioning your mind, because it started over there at Marion being in a one-man cell. Getting your mind together. However, you still active. Now you come back. You get ready to get moved again. You're like, okay, well shit, I'm here. You're going through your appeals. You're doing all that, trying to fight your Brady Act because that's what they violate. Whether you're guilty or not, you violate the Brady Act. People out there, it don't matter whether you're guilty. It's supposed to come back up for appeal, and you can re-convict me if you get the right jury. But you know, we black folks, we don't never get that shit. However, here we is. You 20. You got these 90.
84 years.
You got 84.
968 months.
968 months, 84 years. And it's 84 year sentence. Now, you 14 years in. 15 years in, let's just say this. Let's give it a 15 years. Decade and a half. You can't trip no more because you got to settle in here. Now, you still got a lot of time according to paper. Help us get to where you say you kept hope alive like Reverend Jesse Jackson. I like to say that about people. Keeping hope alive and shit. And a lot of people keep hope alive when there ain't no damn hope. But anyway, with yours it was hope. So you kept hope alive. You kept doing whatever you had to do. You seen everything changing in prison. You heard everything changing outside. Your mama here, she ain't getting tired, but you can see she is draining. Okay, now you follow these appeals. We got a new president where we left off at. Pick up at the new presidency where you start paying attention, because you was in there when Obama came in the White House, White House, you went in for his full term. After him, we got Trump.
Yeah.
So when Trump come in, you right at 20 years, 21, 22 years. And let's pick up.
Yep. So, I really thought that Obama was going to save me. I thought he was going to do something. Unfortunately, it didn't happen then. But
Kwame did too.
Trump came in.
Detroit, the mayor of Detroit.
Yeah. So Trump get in, and I got to give credit to Vance Jones and all those dudes who was behind the First Step Act. Donald Trump just signed his name. But he didn't have to sign it, but it was groups that was behind the First Step Act that's been fighting for years.
If you don't mind, what's the First Step Act? Explain that.
It's kind of hard to explain it, but I would say First Step Act was their first step to, I guess, rectifying some of the laws that they had on books, changing them. And it was quite a few laws on books that they was working to change. In my particular case, which was the 924C statute, which was using the firearm in the commission of crime. It was an enhanced penalty.
What is it called?
Using the firearm in the commission of crime.
924C.
924C. So
459 is the bank robbery in Cali.
No, bank robbery is
459. I think.
No. 2111. I mean 20. What is it? 2113. I think is the bank robbery statute.
Right.
But 459 was breaking and entering.
B&E.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
B&E.
was back way before I filed my Fed case. But the 924C was an enhanced penalty. Now, going back to when Congress brought 924C into play, it was meant like this. If I caught a bank robbery charge with a 924C, they was to give me 5 years for the 924C. I do
Automatic.
my automatic on top of the bank robbery, whatever I got. I do the time, get out, and I commit the same offense again, then you can enhance me 20 years for the 924C. But being that I had a string of robberies, what they did was they stacked the 924Cs on me. I had 4 924Cs on top of the bank robberies. So for the 924Cs,
So as if you had the 4 924Cs, as if you had the 4 sentences.
yeah, because it was.
But it wasn't 4 sentences. It was just a 1.
It was a string of robberies. So
It was a string of robbery, but you got caught one time.
I got caught one time.
They tried to make it seem like you got caught 4 different times.
Yeah, I got out and
yeah.
That was what the statute.
That's very important.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but that's very important.
No, for sure.
Because people don't have an understanding of when you stack something, okay, well, stack is you put the time on top of the time. However, if I never did no time, because I believe Rick Ross got out like that. Because I read his story, his book, and basically that's what he said. I watched him in the podcast as well. That's basically what he said they did to him. They stacked him with across state line as if he was sentencing, but everything was all at once, because he only got caught one time. But go ahead. That's about right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know every detail of his case. Even though I was with him in Line Pop, good friend, good dude.
Oh, y'all did time together?
Yeah. Shout out to Rick Ross. I love what he's doing out there right now. And but yeah, so in my case, it was like they gave me 5 years for the first one, and then 20, because I had 4 of them. So I got 65 years just on 924Cs to be ran
Concurrent or
consecutive. And
one after another.
Yeah, and then they sentenced me for the bank robberies and conspiracy to commit bank robberies.
So you didn't get a lot of time for that?
No, I got 14 years, I believe, for the bank
I mean, that's a
robberies.
lot of time, but 14 years versus
Yeah, 5 years. more time for enhanced penalties, the 924C, than the actual robberies and the conspiracy. You know?
Right.
So by them stacking on me, they wasn't supposed to do that, but they've been getting away with that for years. Because there's a lot of brothers in the feds that fell up under the same 924C statute. So what the First Step Act did in regards to the 924Cs, they said, nah, you can't do that no more. You only can get a person, I think, a maximum of 25 years for one, and that's it. So I'm sitting, unbeknownst to me, I'm not really studying what's coming down the pipeline, but I'm hearing about it. And one day I got contacted by some college students, law students, and they was like, this might help you, you know, and so I started reading. I'm like, wow. So I ended up getting an attorney, and my attorney, you know, he looked into it like, yeah, this can help you. But the thing is they didn't make it retroactive. A lot of laws they change, they don't make it retroactive. They trying to keep you sitting on ice. So
they just try to act like they're doing something for you.
Yeah.
To get the vote.
Yeah, but they don't make it retroactive. But if you fight, you can get that off of you. But then they want to know, what have you been doing the last 5 to 10 years? If you still getting in trouble and stuff, then they ain't gonna let it go through.
You still a danger to society.
Absolutely. So in my case, this is what I really actually believe in my case. Once I started changing my mindset and my heart towards things, and I like to tell people, I started changing my karma by doing right by people. You know what I'm saying? And once I started changing my karma, I get the letter in 2018. This might help you. Wow. So now, by me changing myself, my life.
You 10 years in being straight, or a little bit more.
Almost 10.
Almost 10 doing.
Yeah, about 8 years. No write-up, no conflict. So when they pushed the paperwork to the warden of my institution first, what he been doing? Oh shit. He got like 20 certificates, all these courses he's taking, anger management, victim impact, and all the things that I was just taking. Like, I'm just piling this stuff up, not knowing it's gonna help me, but it did. So now I'm showing.
You condition your mind. But then at the same time, I like to believe in God. You get conditioned
Absolutely.
to come home. Because a lot of people don't understand what preparation is.
Yeah.
You preparing yourself because you're in the jungle, you're in the wilderness. And in the wilderness, you gotta feed for yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, while you're feeding, you gotta be disciplined, making wise decisions.
Absolutely.
So you preparing yourself in preparation.
Absolutely.
Come home.
Absolutely.
So as you preparing yourself, you get this letter.
Yeah.
2018.
And I'm getting all these certificates and stuff and whatnot. And so the warden signed off on it, okay. So next step is send it up to my sentencing judge. My sentencing judge died. So everything fell up into another judge. And I remember the words this judge said when she gave me my reduction. She said, I've showed a consistent effort at rehabilitation. Therefore, because I told my attorney was saying, I'm going to shoot for time served. I was like, nah. I said, just ask them to give me the 30 that they offered me when I first failed. Because they offered me 30 years. But at 21, 22, you like, I ain't finna take no 30. So my attorney, he said, all right. He asked the judge, we just actually reduced the sentence to 30. New First Step Act, you really can't sentence him to all this 65 years on 924C. This is what he's been doing since he's been in prison. Da-da-da-da. The judge said, I see consistent effort in rehabilitation. Okay. And when my attorney told me that, I couldn't believe it. Like really, I couldn't believe I was going home.
How you feel when they?
It was surreal. I was like, I told Sharisa, I say.
And who was Sharisa?
My girl, my lady.
That's who picked you up?
That's who picked me up. Until I walked out and seen her, I still didn't believe it. I just knew that they was gonna come with some shenanigans. I just knew that they was gonna be there saying, you know what?
How long you been knowing Sharisa?
Me and Sharisa been knowing each other since 97.
1900.
1997. Yeah.
When y'all met it when y'all wrapped up.
Yeah, and crazy thing about this, I was coming back from court, and they was booking her in MDCLA, and I seen her, and I was like, wow. So I went back up to my unit, and I hollered an event to one of the homegirls. I said, the new girl that's coming up there, tell her to come and holler at me tomorrow morning.
Oh, y'all had co-ed?
Yeah, the females was on the 9th floor. I was on, I think, 7th South at the time, and so she came to the event reluctantly. She didn't know what was going on. And I started hollering at her. I'm like, I'm the one you seen, woo. And so I became her friend while she was going through what she was going through. Because I had already been down a couple years. And so just that alone.
You bagged your lady while you was in the joint.
I guess you could say
You
that.
really fish.
I guess you could say that, right?
You the real fish.
Yeah. So,
hey, you caught some shit.
man,
You might have been a fisherman.
greatest lesson of my life, man.
As a fisherman.
But yeah, so I met her. She got out on bail, and she ended up coming to visit me when I went to state to the USP to Lompoc.
Right.
She was coming to see me in Lompoc until she had to go and do her bit. And naturally, I got 84 years, so she had a life to live. So we parted. We parted for a long time, but like a year.
So y'all never touched?
Only a visit. She came to see me in Lompoc, you know, and yeah, she was there for me, and then she, like I said, she went on to live her life, and I was still doing time. But about a year before I got out, I was just messing around with my sister. I like, look this person up for me. She looked her up, and she thought I was dead because a lot of people thought when Baby Fish got killed, they thought it was me because I was the wild one. So everybody was like, that was me. So her ex-husband told her like, yeah, you know Fish dead. So I don't know, I think it was about since 2007, she thought I was dead until my sister slid in her DMs.
From 2020. From 2007 to what? 2020, 2019, 2018, whatever that was.
No, 2020.
Yeah.
And she thought my sister was playing a game because she thought I was dead. And when I got her number and she talked to me, she was like, oh my God. She was like, damn.
And it's been ever since.
Yeah.
So you get ready to come home. Preparing yourself mentally, physically, you're already there. To get ready to come out. To touch a woman. You ain't touch a woman in 26 motherfucking years. Well, we ain't gonna talk about, oh yeah. So you were fortunate.
Yeah, I was fortunate.
You were fortunate to touch a woman inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you.
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, dig that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I dig that like a crave, like a runaway slave. So, outside of that, you fortunate enough to touch a woman on the free world.
Yeah.
You still had all that motherfucking time.
Yeah.
Right, 84 years, 186 months.
Yeah.
So when you come home, you condition. You want to leave everything behind because a lot, like the first time you went in, and the second time you went in, from the 2 state charges, from the youth, or to Chino and to the other, you said, I'm robbing banks. Second time you come home, you condition, you read, you speaking right, your pants, you ain't sagging, you ain't gang banging, you're a man.
I'm a man, absolutely.
You come home to touch a woman in the free world. What was your mental then?
Man, I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I was in heaven, like.
They got a song for that shit too.
Yeah. It's just like, man.
I found him.
I rarely have a bad day.
On earth.
I rarely have a bad day. It's like, just to be on this side is the greatest blessing ever. So, just being able to touch her, smell her, and just be in her presence. It was a beautiful thing, man.
But you wouldn't want to smell no funky woman. I don't care how much you want to be out. I said you wouldn't want to smell no mustache woman, no matter how much time you spend. Right? Shit.
I'm gonna keep it PG.
What's PG?
I'm gonna keep it PG.
What's PG?
When you in prison, like, I guess probably you still gonna have morals and standards. You know what I'm saying? But, just to be in the presence of a woman.
Whatever you smell like, you gonna encounter.
It's a blessing until you start smelling something else.
Even if she stunk. Like a fish. Oh
no, I can't take no fish smell. Nah. A little must don't hurt nobody else.
So you come on, God bless. Who's the president in the White House? It's important to say who's the president.
Oh, when I came home.
Not saying you with him or against him, but who's the president?
That signed the First Step Act?
Yeah, because we always.
Yeah, Donald Trump signed the First Step Act.
So you say.
But I came home on
So you're a Trump? Well, we ain't gonna get into politics.
Yeah, no comment on that. I don't like
my other partner I went to college with, he say politics and politics. So we ain't gonna talk about politics.
Yeah. But let's just say that I'm in favor for whoever in favor for our community, though.
Can I say this? Ain't nobody in favor of our community. They all do what they do for a vote.
And they all got their own agendas. I agree.
Yeah, fuck them. So we don't go to something else. I don't want to get them no glory. Even though I'm a part of something, because you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. You can stay neutral.
Yeah.
But I just feel me personally. Me personally. If anybody did anything in the streets, if you call yourself an ex-gangster, street nigga, whatever the fuck label you want to give, it was something against what they call quote-unquote a law, because they always break laws that they make. I don't know how you go against Trump. Because he ain't doing nothing but what any person in the streets would do.
Oh, he's a gangster.
Yeah,
that's one thing I can say. He's a gangster. And he did what he wanted to do in that White House.
And what person from the streets don't like or respect gangsters?
Yeah, but
you ain't gotta like them, you gotta vote for them,
but
you gotta care for them.
But
you gotta respect them.
I get it.
Right?
No, for real.
Because like you say in the joint, you ain't gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you know what he about. He rocking with you. So now we come home. It's a new day, it's a new world. You enjoyed your life in the beginning, say, but Manhattan. You never been to New York.
Miami.
Miami, never. But you come home, you go to, because you got a couple of days to get back.
Got a couple of days to get back.
Did you parole out of Georgia or California?
I had everything set up where I came straight here.
Straight here.
Yep.
So you kicked it, you enjoy life. So now you sit down, you take that deep breath, 72 hours kick in. What was your thought process? What the fuck I'm gonna do? 26 motherfucking years. And you supposed to do 84 motherfucking months, 986.
Yeah. My release date was 2066. Every time I went to
We all probably would have been there.
every time I went to team, that 2066 was right there.
So,
Right there.
let's scale back. Got the letter. You know what you're gonna do. When you got the letter, how fast they say you gotta get the fuck on, get out, kick out?
No, it
Or
wasn't-
they prepare you to get out? Because that's very important too, because I always feel anybody did more than 5 years, you need a preparation, like a detox, a suppression to push you out. Because if you just push you out, you can burst, because you don't know what you're facing. Because every half a decade, things drastically change. Not change, but drastically changes in life.
Yes.
So you been pushed out about 26 motherfucking years. What was that drastic change? And how did you know mentally on the inside of something that became your world, because that's all you do? Actually, not 26 years, but actually 29 and a half years. Because you was gone. And at 29 and a half years, you started going to the drawing at 15. So you inside that world more than you on the outside of this world.
Yes.
Because you know more the inside versus the outside. So how you prepare yourself for something you ain't even know? Because people, I started fucking at 10. A lot of other people start fucking, I don't know what the age, but I was out there. You know what I mean? But I started fucking at 10. Fuck it, I was going through the hood. That's the kind of shit we do.
Yeah.
You gone in at 2021. You fucking, you having sex. That's what we talking about. You pick on podcast. Now you come home from 26 years, you was fortunate enough to have swag on the inside. But you coming home now, you can freely lay up, cuddle up, and hug up with a woman. Like one of my other partners tell me, I like to cuddle. That's all I do. I like to cuddle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So, you cuddling up, you kicking it, you eating it. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Because I hear what you're saying we gonna do, baby. But what am I really supposed to do? I don't know nothing else. 29 motherfucking years. This is all I know.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna tell you what she said in regards to that. She said, "Damn, baby, it's like you ain't never left." She said, "You had to be fucking some police COs in there. It's like riding a bike.
Right.
That aspect of it.
Because you still riding a bike while you was in.
And then another
You
thing.
was riding a bike while you was in, so.
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
But another thing though too, like you gotta get out there mentally sometime. When you laying there in your bunk, you know what I'm saying, at night, you out there in your thoughts and your fantasy worlds and whatnot. That so I kept, you know, fresh in my mind how to treat a woman, how to carry a woman, how to make love to a woman. So I never lost that mentally. So like they say, when
you was dressing up in suits, so you was a Casanova at a young age.
I was pretty smooth.
I got a picture of me out, I got hanging in my house. I was 17 years old in a suit. Now, my ex-man used to be triggered. So, you know, at a young age, but you know, the why we men was like that though. This is the funny part. If you can remember, we screw women, got hard-ons. We listened to Isley Brothers in Houston. We listened to Isley Brothers, Maze.
Yeah.
We listened to Freddie Jackson. We listened to that type of music, put ourselves in the mindset when we were a woman. So you grew up in that era.
Absolutely.
So your era, you wouldn't even know about this era of the rap culture that came along with disrespectful to it.
No.
So when you come home, you still that Casanova, dressed up in the suit, robbing bank. However, not with the mindset.
Yeah.
So you was a chivalry nigga coming up out of prison.
I've always been chivalrous.
Yeah,
I've always been chivalrous, and that's because I guess my mom's taught me well too how to respect women. Like, you know, we all have our flaws. We all have that, you know, where we don't treat women as well as we should because we fuck with different women. Back, you know what I'm talking. I'm referring back to the day. So we got a little chauvinist in us, or whatever you call it, but at the end of the day, I always knew how to treat a woman. I knew how to respect.
I mean, you kind of knew how to treat a woman if you got a woman on the inside of the joint. You had to be some type of chivalry.
can't believe I believed everything we had was less. Too young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kids. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your schemes. I'm smarter than that. Dumb and naive to believe that with me you're a changed man. Foolish of me to compete when you cheat, we're lose women. It took me some time, but now I moved on. Because I realized I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Controlling and you say that you love me, but you don't. Your family told me one day I would see it on my own. Next thing I know, I'm dealing with your 3 kids in my.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I adjusted because of the support system, and not only Sharisa, I have my sister was a great.
So what was your
support
support system in the joint? Was it a woman base?
Well, I got
Outside.
No,
Not
got
inside.
no. I got 2 friends who I knew before I was gang banging. Squares, working men. They was in my life. Whenever I called for them,
They rode the ride.
they had me. And them the 2 dudes that every time I go to California, I touch bases with them regardless. And
Shout out to them.
well, Odell and
Odell.
Odell and Mookie, they know who they are.
Right.
And them my 2 real brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
From other mothers.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when you're doing time, I rotated female friends. I was never lonely. I rotated female friends. Well, let me get the.
I mean, your name is
Let me
Fitz.
go back. I was lonely,
But your name is Fitz.
but I filled that void by just rotating female
Filled
friends.
the void by being what you labeled fish. What did a fish do? They float across the ocean,
Yeah.
bump into new motherfuckers as they go. Make sure they ain't get caught ensnared in the trap or on the hook.
Absolutely.
You
And thank
became-
God I didn't.
You became the hook.
Yeah.
You hooked them.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we outside. God bless. You with the woman. You now coming here saying you put to get into real estate. What part of the real estate venture have you done, if you've done any, or you done build yourself up, you and your woman Sharisa, build yourself up to be?
Okay. Well, we just bought a property. So when I came home,
And how long you been home?
I've been home a little about 18, 19 months. And so when I came home, Sharisa already had a lot for me to build on, which I'm about to start building on as soon as I get these permits. Then she had a house and a house on this 4 corners. She had 3 of the corners. We just recently purchased the 4th corner about 8 months ago.
So she played Monopoly.
Absolutely. And what we're doing with this property and what I've been involved with is I've been getting this property ready so that we can house ex-offenders. So we're going to be putting ex-offenders in there while they transition back into society in this property right here. So we've been doing a little rehabbing with it and just preparing it to get it ready to go.
And you've been doing some mentoring. Tell me some of the groups or couple of, or whoever you done spoke to.
Well, now I'm also walking in my purpose. For the last 4 months, I've been walking in my purpose.
Cause I mean, 'cause we want you to do some things with Pinpoint Foundation too. You
Oh,
do have
no,
a
absolutely.
Cause you know we're on the podcast saying that shit, right?
Well, look, this is what I'm going to say. God blessed me with my freedom for a reason. He kept me young. He kept me healthy for a reason.
He preserves you.
He preserved me because I believe I can relate to these young men that's in the streets right now. And there's no better person to relate to them than somebody who's been through what they're going through right now.
You
And
believe
so-
or you know?
No, I know.
Right.
Because of the few places that I spoke at, the young men came to me afterwards asking me more questions. You know what I'm saying? So my purpose is to reach out to them, not tell them what to do, but to share my story with them and hope that my story help them to start changing their mindsets and their thought process.
You know, like today, as you can see how Pinpoint Podcast set up for all their guests. All guests are special. I cooked a meal, prepared a meal. You want to share with your meal? What was your meal of choice?
My meal was some barbecue chicken, beans,
Even in the rain.
rice, even in the rain. Thank you.
Dance on the water, I ain't get wet.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, and the meal was delicious. The fish was delicious as well, and the whole hospitality here, being here at Pinpoint, has been just amazing.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But the thing is about the meals.
No, the meal.
See, one of the things about meals, what we do, it brings people together.
Okay.
Even like I go back to whether you go to biblical, whether you go to your Quran, whether you go to the Torah, whatever Catholicism, whatever religion base you form, even if you're atheist, don't believe in nothing. You believe in eating with your family, because everybody about their family.
Yes.
So one thing I learned about, when you eat with friends and family, you get to know one another. Y'all gonna have a disagreement, because if there's not a disagreement, there's something not real there. I tell my partners that all the time. If we can't have a disagreement, if we agree all the time, one of us phony, if not both of us. So when you have that meal together and you share it together, then you know that, okay, I can share something with this person because we talk and I'm comfortable with it. And he or she's comfortable with me. So you're home. You're not accustomed to that, because when you went in, you was young. So would you share with your affiliates, Crips, as if you still active or inactive, however you still affiliated, you say, how important you think a meal to be shared with your friends and family?
It's very important. You know, like breaking bread with your brethren is very important.
Because you broke bread with who in the joint? Let's go
With
back.
my comrades.
We're going to travel, right?
Yeah.
When you went to CYA, who you ate with?
My comrades.
When you went to see your first prison joint, who you ate with?
My comrades.
I don't know why the fuck I can't remember the other two. Who you ate with?
Yeah, Chuckawalla Ironwood.
You're
They're
26
my comrades.
motherfuckers. You're 26 years in the federal penitentiary. Who you ate with?
For the most part, my comrades.
But you see how important that meal is?
Oh, absolutely, because it brings about unity and it brings around camaraderie.
If you do your thing called spreads in the joint, you ate with who?
Yeah, my comrades.
And y'all got to kick it, y'all talk. You hear somebody, something, express something to somebody, then you find a way to help. Or vice versa, help you, right?
Absolutely.
It's important to have that meal. And that's what I always stress. So what would you stress today to other cribs that you hear about that's out here that you can see could be saved, but on the path to end the way you at? What would you share with them?
I would share with them that we got to start respecting ourselves first, respecting each other,
How you gonna do that when they on
Respecting
some
humanity.
business?
because we destroying ourselves. And
Well, we've been destroying it ourselves since they goddamn released us from slavery.
I know, but when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop?
Is it designed to stop?
Perhaps not, but all things is designed, you know what I'm saying,
It's
to
designed
be changed.
to build and to destroy.
Yeah, so we gotta start building and stop destroying.
So you'll
And-
tell
and-
your other brethren, hey, start building. Well, how to build?
No.
And when they don't know
But
nothing.
that's why you gotta provide resources. And I'm hoping to start with bringing the center into hopefully East Pointe or one of the communities here where I can provide them with resources and I can provide them with a space where it's a neutral environment where they can come and they can relax and they can
So
just
this is
deal
where
with
it
each
get
other.
hard. Because this is the hard part of life and reality outside of prison. You want to do all that, and everybody else do too. But some people might have a different monetary reason or a different reason. How you gonna provide it? What resource? Give me 3 resources out the river that you're gonna provide, or you're gonna put yourself in a position to provide.
Well, first I gotta provide them with information first and foremost.
Which is always number one.
You know what I'm saying? And whatever I can do to lead them to you know, just whatever they want to be, whatever their dreams are, whatever I can do to lead them and help them to believe in that dream and believe in the possibility of that dream coming to fruition, that's what I want to do. And I know that you got to give these guys resources, especially when it comes to when they out there in the streets trying to feed and provide for their families.
So somebody come to you. You're not affiliated, but you still crib by heart, crib by blood. Yeah or nay?
I can agree with that. Yes.
Yes,
I
right?
mean,
So then you know with somebody that you got the paperwork, there's a real one in the joint, did some time, then he got somebody outside that he wants you to go holler at. He in the streets.
Absolutely not. I'm not in the streets. I'm not
So
active.
you wouldn't holler at him?
No, I'm not active.
Right.
I'm not active. Why would I?
Right.
Why would I jeopardize myself?
That's what I want to hear. You got a complete change.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people say they changed, but when they put up under their test, you find out you really didn't change.
No. I'm real about my change.
So would you rob a bank again?
Absolutely not.
Time got hard.
Absolutely
Depression.
not. No.
You end up on the street.
Let me tell you the story real quick. So one of my jobs was that I was a security guard, ironically. So I was a security guard at Fifth Plaza, then I was a security guard at the Gucci store. A luxury security guard, suited and booted. They do a background check.
Ain't that ironic?
Look at
Come back around.
They do a
you
background.
suited and booted robbing the bank.
Yeah,
Now you suited and booted being a security.
Absolutely.
Said don't steal.
Absolutely.
And use the rob.
Look, so they do a background check, nothing comes up because my case is so old. So I was responsible not only for watching this Gucci merchandise, but I was walking the armored guard into the Gucci store to the safe once a week, and not once did I entertain the possibility of robbing.
You didn't entertain, but what about the thought across the mind?
Not once.
You never breathed.
Not once. But I did call Sharice and say, can you believe this? Can you believe this? But that's how God is, though.
That's why I say the 24 circle.
Yeah, he put you in a position to test you. Because back in the days, I'd have been calling the homies like, I got us one. I got us one. And it was easy, too.
So how was you dressed back in the day? Suited and booted.
Suited and booted when I was riding.
How was you dressed at Gucci?
Suited and booted.
But see, that's the magnificence of Allah, God, Jehovah. We've all recognition, like I was just saying, with Sharice, prior to you coming back. No, you never know how life treats you. But one thing I know, God's ways are not our ways. His thought is not our thought. You know, a lot of people read that, but they don't have an understanding that. Acknowledge him in all his ways. Acknowledge him in all his ways. How the fuck you acknowledge something you don't see? Just by talking about it, that's acknowledgement. Now, you go back. He prepared you. You robbing in suits. I'm going to get you to be a protector
In a suit.
in a suit.
Yeah.
And they don't bring you home free where you got the mindset where you ain't thinking about taking this person's money in a suit, but protecting them in a suit. Did that just ever just cross your mind, or just some shit that you just heard me say?
No, that suit right
That
there.
shit sounds
No,
fly,
so I gotta steal it because I didn't really realize the suit. I realized the position God put me in, but it's ironic that I robbed banks in suits and then bring it back, and I was protecting assets in the suit.
And what are we deemed to be in suits? Respectable men.
Respectable.
So you was always a respectable man, but you had to go through your trial and tribulation. I ain't gonna let you die, but I'm gonna preserve you. You gonna go through what you gonna go through because you did some fucked up shit.
Absolutely.
However, when I get through with you, not get through with you, when I get you to the point to where I really want to use you, you're gonna be in a suit. And what do we all die in? What they bury us in if our face ain't fucked up?
In a suit.
See, that suit is what? When you look up the definition of a suit, you got a distinguished character of a man. You got somebody that's placed in a suit that they say that this person is stable. Now in life, you come home, get with your lady. Would you say you're stable?
Yes, I'm stable.
And you're stable, you say you got your mind focused on what your career want to be?
Absolutely.
And you all did it all in a suit. Starting with a suit,
Starting with a suit, and I plan to wear more suits in my daily life.
And see, that's how we're going to end Pinpoint Foundation, Pinpoint Podcast.
Yes, sir.
See, the thing about life is, speaking, first of all, we want to thank Mr. Eric, 'cause we're going all day. But we want to thank Mr. Eric for gracing us with his presence. First of all, we want to thank God that he was blessed to come home for 26 motherfucking years. Well, I'm going to say 29 and a half because you got the 2, you know, it's kind of like the make. You got the 2, right? You got the 2 plus an 18. That's 2 plus 18, right? 2 plus 18 plus 26, right? Yes. Motherfucker, can you do that and survive and come look like Mr. Eric McKenith? No, you can't. But at Pinpoint Forecast, we're going to find the ones that can do that, look like that, and be conditioned like that. You know, we want to give a shout out. We always got to have fun. But everything is about real estate. As you can see, he's going into real estate. His lady that he come home to is going to help him into real estate and do the things to do. We wish you much blessings and prosperity in it. But the number one thing, y'all look forward to seeing another interview with Mr. Eric, because he'll be mentoring with Pinpoint Foundation, his own self as well as with Pinpoint Foundation. And we're going out there speaking to the young youth and to the gang members and all that, because he has a story to tell. I have another brother named Jesse Hill Roger. He's out there in Houston that did the same 26 motherfucking years. And he has a story to tell. I have a story to tell. A lot of people have a story to tell. This is one of the interesting interviews I had that opened up in 2023 back at Pinpoint Podcast every Wednesday until we say we finish. Right now we just get started. So I'd like to thank y'all. Would you like to say anything and give any shout outs to anybody out there? And I always like for people to know how to get in contact with you, just in case they want you to come speak, because you speak very well, in my opinion.
And they can hit me up on my IG, which is Eric _McKenith, McKenith. And I just want to thank you for having me here, and I look forward to doing the work.
I gotta ask you this question. And don't lie, we real men. I was gonna say real niggas, we real men. Was that damn food good?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't cook that shit.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna even lie.
No,
I got a cake. No, I didn't. Chef JL was here.
No, yeah. All right, Chef JL, I said he though. I said it.
See, he be looking like me, but that was
It's definitely good.
That's Chef JL. Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining in the Pinpoint Podcast. We hope y'all enjoyed Mr. Eric McKenith. And we hope you guys, the story was about not to, as he say, glorify anything about gangbanging, being crib being, but just giving you the life, how you get caught up, and how he's conditioned, how God bless him to condition himself to come out to be a better person. Going in, Robert Banks' suit is really ironic that he come out guarding a motherfucker he don't even know with all his money in a suit that he would have got in a suit when he was young, in that suit. Y'all know what I'm talking about? But hey, Pinpoint Forecast. We hope y'all follow us on Pinpoint YouTube, Pinpoint Foundation. We'd like to thank y'all. Continue to visit. And remember, all things is real estate, because the real estate he talked about is getting into investment. Hey, Pinpoint Forecast, we out.